noise. So what is a noise? Noise is any sound which is unpleasant, which is very loud, and which will create any disturbance when it will come into contact with our ear. Once it will come to contact with our ear, it will go inside our body and different parts, and it will create some disturbance and other irritations or certain other effect in our mind. So that is the noise. The effect of exposure to noise. There are many occupations where there is a risk of exposure to excessive noise. Examples include construction workers as a result of plant and machinery operations such as concrete breakers, uninformed service such as army personnel exposed to noise from small arms and artillery, and entertainment sector workers such as nightclub staff exposed to loud music. After that, manufacturing sector workers exposed to industrial machinery noise. Call center staff exposed to loud noise and acoustic shock from the use of headsets. And there are many health and safety issues associated with noise in the workplaces. So these are the main industries I have shown you here: construction industry, uninformed services, entertainment sectors, and manufacturing sectors, and call center staffs. These are the staffs which are at the higher risk of noise also, and there are also other industries which are at the higher risk of noise. So there are many health effects from the noise and the physical effects also there. The physical effects include temporary reduction in hearing sensitive as a result of short duration exposure to excessively loud noise. Example, muffled hearing after a loud concert. So it will give you the temporary reduction in here. When you will hear the loud music, so certain time like 15 minutes, 1 hour to 2 hour, it will give you the temporary reduction in noise. So you will not able to hear the noise clearly, and after some time it will be get cured. So that is the temporary reduction will be there in the hearing sensitivity. After that, noise induced hearing loss. Noise-induced hearing loss, it is a permanent progressive loss of hearing as a result of repeated exposure to excessively loud noise. Whenever the worker, they work any loud noise environment, example nightclub, as they are getting exposed to the loud noise continuously 4 hours, 5 hours, or 8 hours every day. So what will happen? They will start to lose their hearing sensitivity, and by time it will get down, and at the one time it will be permanent also, and they will lose their hearing power. After then, tinnitus, persistent ringing in the ears as a result of repeated exposure excessively loud noise. So this may be temporary or permanent. So tinnitus is the persistent ringing, like when suddenly one sound will go in your ear, so it will go this type of sound will come. So what will happen? As a result of repeated exposure to a loud noise, this will happen. And it could be temporary and it could be permanent also. It depends on the noise which you are receiving and how long you are receiving and how frequently you are getting exposed to those noises. After that, inability to hear. Hazards such as vehicles, alarms and warning sirens, conversations, and spoken instructions as a result of background noise. So what will happen? Because of noise, loud noise, we are unable to hear some hazards such as vehicles. If the vehicle will come, they will create some sound. And because of too much background noise, we won't be able to hear the sound of vehicle, and people they will met with the accident also. After then, alarms and warning sirens. Whenever there is alarm or warning sirens and there is a background noise, so these alarms and warning sirens, they will mix up with the background noise. And the people and the staff, they won't be able to hear this alarm and warning signs. And that will create confusion also. And the people during the emergency scenarios, they won't be able to evacuate and they won't be able to take the decisions. So these are the physical effects of noise. So psychological effects. What psychological effect will cause because of noise? Psychological effect include stress effects caused by irritating nuisance, then background noise. So what will happen whenever you will start to receive the noise and it will be continuous, it will create some stress also. People, they won't be able to think properly, they won't able to take the decisions accurately, and they will be disturbed mentally also. So that will cause the stress also. After that, difficulty concentrating and increase in errors caused by nuisance and background noise. So whenever we get two noises like background noise and some other noise also, so we won't be able to think correctly and accurately and prominently. So what will happen, it will cause the accident and incidents also, and the people, they will start to create errors also. Then they will do the errors, and errors will also increase. This is the diagram of the ear. You can see here there is an ear drum here, and air canal. There is the air canal, and there is the outer ear, and incus here, stipes, and this is the middle ear. Then malleus, semicircular canals, and inner ear, cochlea, and tube. So this is the diagram of our ear. Terminology. The following basic terminology is used in the measurement and assessment of noise exposure in the workplaces. So there are legal requirements also that we need to make sure that our noise at work, they should be measured, and proper action should be taken as per the OSHA's requirement, international ILO requirement, and country to country there are regulations also that requires to meet with the legal requirement. So sound pressure. What is the sound pressure? The air pressure of sound waves moving through the air. When the air pressure will, when we will shout, or when any sound that will come and that will meet with the air, that will create some pressure. This pressure is measured using the decibel scale. So you will measure the sound in a dB. After that, intensity, a measure of the energy carried by the sound pressure waves moving through the air, which we subjectively call the volume or loudness. When you will create some noise, those noises, some will be very loud, some will be very middle, mild one, and some will be very less noise. So the pressure, intensity, as louder it will be, it will cause more damage, and it will go more distance. It will cover the more distance. So that will, we can say it is the intensity, the loudness of any noise. After that, decibel, dB, the unit of sound pressure level. The decibel scale is a logarithm scale. This means that relatively small increases in decibel value actually represent very large increase in intensity. For example, an increase of just 3 dB represents a doubling of sound intensity. So we are using the dB to measure the sound. Can see a measure of the number of sound pressure waves that pass a fixed point in 1 second, the pitch. The unit is hertz. The human ear is sensitive to noise across a wide range of frequencies from 20 hertz, very low frequencies, to 20,000 hertz, very high frequencies, treble, high pitch. Equally, there are some sounds the human ear can't hear as they are outside of this frequency range, high pitched whistles. So that is the frequency. After that, A weighting. During noise assessment, A weighting is applied to the decibel values at different frequencies to give a sound pressure level expressed as dBA. This A weighting converts the decibel value to take into account the sensitivity of the human ear across a range of frequencies. In other words, it is the decibel value corrected for the sensitivity of the human ear. Then we have the C weighting. Then during this noise assessment, what will happen? C weighting may be applied to the decibel values at different frequencies to give a sound pressure level expressed as dBc. Then this C weighting gives a more accurate reading for impulse noise, single loud bangs that would not be properly recorded using the dBA scale. So there are two criteria when you are measuring the noise: weighting A, dBA, and dBc. So there are different noise, and the pitch level will be there different as per the noise pitch level and the frequencies and the the loudness of noise, you have to use the measurement level dBA and dBc. Noise exposure. In order to work out what a worker's exposure to noise is in the workplace and where not the noise that have been exposed to is excessive, employers must undertake some form of technical noise assessment. So it is a legal requirement that Control of Noise at Work Regulation 2005 state that noise assessment are required where there is a likely to be significant exposure to noise. Simple hearing checks can be used to estimate noise levels if normal conversation cannot be heard at a distance of 1 meter from the speaker, then the noise levels are likely to be in the region of 85 dB. So we need to make sure that wherever there is a noise hazard in the workplace, we need to do the noise assessment and we need to make sure that staff, our employees, they are not in the risk of noise exposure. Where a noise assessment is needed, some form of noise measurement will probably have to be carried out. Before this is done, information has to be obtained from the workplace, example, about the noise sources in the workplaces and shift patterns. So when you are doing the noise assessment, you have to make sure that which are the equipment and what are the sources are there in the work area which is creating the noise. It is not always you have to focus on the equipment. Because people also, when too much people work in a small area, so while they will talk, while they will discuss with the customer, like call center. In a call center, there are so many people will be there in one area, and when they will speak, so too much noise will be created, and thus that will increase the noise level in the work environment. This background information can then be used to target the survey and can help in the interpretation of results. Risk measurement and assessment is a complex topic that should only be undertaken by a competent person. Whenever noise assessment is conducted, you need to make sure that the person who's conducting the noise assessment, he or she should be competent. When you are deciding the competency, you need to make sure that person has the sufficient knowledge about the assessment, the person has the sufficient training about the noise, and person know about the risk and hazards related to noise exposure and certain other requirements which is required by the work regulations 2005 and other requirements also that need to be complied. The person who is taking the noise assessment. When we are taking the noise assessment, this is the meter that we have to use to measure the noise. Then basic noise control measures. Once you identify what are the sources of the noise, now you have to put the control measures to make sure that these noise are not creating any hazards and any risks to your employees, visitors, and other peoples. So reducing noise at source. So there are different processes that you can apply. First of all, what we have to do, we have to reduce the noise at source. So what are the sources that creating the noise? So eliminating the source, completely removing the noise source is not practical in many instances. So when you are eliminating the source of noise, let's say that there is one equipment which is making very noise. So what you can do, you can completely remove that equipment. But so many cases, removing the source of noise completely, it is not possible. The second one we have substituting the source. Change the noise source for something else that does the same job but generates less noise. So change a petrol driven machine for an electric version. Let's say that you have one generator which you are using for with the petrol driven. So that you can change the generator with the electrical one or the another one which will make the less noise. You remember that old generation that generator, they were making too much noise. Now the new generation generator we have, that will not making any noise or that will make the less noise. So in that way you have to see that you can change the electrically or you can change the machines completely. Rather than modifying the process, example, by changing from glass to plastic bottles, noise from a packing line can be reduced, or by replacing a compressed air revert gun with a screw fixing, manufacturing noise can be reduced. Rather than modifying the process as per your work environment, not sure that which work environment you are working, what is your industry. As per the industry type, there are so many like different process may be there where you can modify the process. Maybe in a production process where you are packing the glass bottle. Well, when the glass bottle, they will touch each other, they will create the noise and the noise will be loud. So these glass bottles can be replaced by the plastic bottles. So the plastic bottles, when they will come into contact with each other, they will not make any noise. So that we can do. So you can check other requirements also, and you can see the other possibilities in your process. So definitely you can go for this one, modifying the process. Other than maintenance, machinery often produce noise because it is in need of maintenance. So maintenance, PPM, it is one of the major requirement for the machineries, and machineries should be lubricated also, so they will not make noise also, and the time by time they need to be maintained also to make sure that they are not creating any noise. After that, silencing. Any machine that produces exhaust gases, example diesel generator, should be fitted with a silencer on the exhaust to suppress noise. What you can install the silencer. You remember that the car has the silencer. If you if the car silencer will get broke down, you know that how loud noise they are creating. Even the bullet also, even the bike also. Sometimes the silencer getting broke, so they are creating more noise. So in that way, what we can do, we can install the silencer on the machine so they can create less noise or noise can be reduced. These are the basic noise control measures that we can apply. Interrupting the pathway. How you can interrupt the pathway of noise? So this can be achieved by insulation. In some instances, it is possible to build an acoustic enclosure around the noise source. Noise is generated inside the enclosure but cannot be penetrate through the walls to the outside work environment. For example, a static diesel generator might be placed in a separate building with a sound insulating walls. So the insulation is a process or is a type of what you can is a structure. In that structure, you will put your machine or any kind of equipment you will put it inside that one, which is causing more noise. So once you will put inside that one, the structure or any store or anything, so inside that one, you will put that equipment and that equipment noise will not come out from that structure. So you are insulating that one. So noise will not come out. So this is one of the way. After that, isolation. Noise is often transmitted in the form of mechanical vibration from machinery into supporting structures. Example, from a compressor into the floor, it is mounted on. Isolation involving separating the machine from any supporting structure using vibration absorbent mats or springs. This breaks the transmission. Insulation also, it is one of the good idea that we can use to disrupt the noise pathway. When you are isolating the machine and the machine put it down on some of the mat or any other mat. So what will happen? That mat will avoid the noise from the machine to the floor. So in between, you have to put something between the machine and between the floor. When you will put something in between, so what will happen? The noise and the vibration that will not passes through from the machine to the floor. So this way also we can stop. After that, absorption. Once noise has escaped from its source, it may travel directly to the receiver through the air or may be reflected off hard surfaces such as walls and ceilings. Absorption involves putting sound absorbing material in the workplaces to absorb these sounds wave before they can reach the receiver. Example, sound absorbent material might be used to line a wall, preventing reflection of a sound waves is a much the same way that carpets or curtains in a house stop sounds reverberating around the room. So if you have the environment which is very noisy, what you can do, you can install the absorption material like as we discussed this one, the wall and the curtain also and the carpets also and other materials also is there in the market which we can use to absorb the sound absorbent materials that you can install on the wall also. So these are the different materials that we can use for the sound absorption. After that, protecting the receiver. Once you do this thing, interrupting the pathway and applying the basic noise control measures, then what you have to do? You have to protect the receiver. The person whose working with the equipment, working in that particular environment, and working with the different people. And they are receiving and they are at the high risk of noise receiving. So you have to protect them. So how you can protect them? First of all, this can be achieved by acoustic heaven. If the workplace is inherently very noisy and it is not possible to apply the above controls previously one, then an acoustic heaven might be built that workers can retreat into the escape the noisy environment. So acoustic heaven is a type of a structure, is an area where the people they will go in time by time and they will get rest. So what will happen? They will get rest from the noisy environment and they will remove stress from the body and other thing also they can remove from there related to the noise. Hearing protection, if none of the above is effective or possible, then some form of hearing protection should be used to reduce the amount of noise that penetrates to the worker's ear. So these are the hearing protection, ear defenders, and these air muffs and air defenders we have that we can use. Ear muffs, air defenders, and earplugs. So these we can use it. So air defenders or air muffs, these in case of outer air in the cup with some sort of foam or gel-filled cushion to seal against the side of the head. After this, an earplug that's fit into the air canal. These earplugs will go inside the air canal and they will fit in. So whichever type of hearing protection is chosen, arrangements should be made for information, instruction, and training. Whichever you will choose, first of all, what you need to do, you need to provide the information, instruction, and training to the employees how to use them and how to clean them and how to do the maintenance and how to keep them properly. And if there is any damage, what they have to do, where they have to report, and how to replace it. So that need to be done. Safe storage also in a hygienic location, cleaning and purely plugs are usually disposable and maintenance including routine inspection and replacement, how they have to replace it. If they are damaged, what they have to do, all these things they need to train. They needs to be trained on all these requirements. Now, the role of health surveillance. Health surveillance is one of the most important things that we can do to make sure that our employees, they are not affected with the noise and they are not receiving any risk related to the noise. Health surveillance is appropriate for workers exposed to high noise levels in the form of audiometry. So, audiometry is a kind of health surveillance that we conduct to the employee who is exposing to the noise. Audiometry is a medical test that quantifies the sensitivity of a person's hearing across a range of frequencies, low pitch to high pitch. So what will happen? You can see here, the person will receive the noise and this is the one, audiogram. So low to high noise pitch, they will receive it and that will receive here, audiometry that will do. It normally involves the worker sitting in a soundproof booth. The person will sit in a soundproof booth or any room with headphone on, listening for faint beeps and indicating when he beeps can be heard. So the person he will tell that when he can hear the beeps and it will be measured. Audiometry allows identification of workers with pre-existing hearing damage. If the workers have already hearing related issues, so that can be identified. New hearing damage also can be identified. For the protection or removal of such workers from high noise areas to protect them from further hearing loss, it is recommended. Investigation of noise controls to identify and rectify problems that can be allowed by audiometry. So this is the role of health surveillance. Now there are rules and regulations related to the noise related health and safety issues. So ILOC 155, Occupational Safety and Health Convention 1981, number 155, that is also related with the noise. ILOR 164, it is a recommendation and that is also related to the noise. And ILO Convention 148 and ILO recommendations for 156, air pollution, noise and vibration recommendations. So these are the legal standards related with the noise health and safety issues. So if you need any further more information related to the legal standards, you can go through these legal standards and you can get more. Introduction to vibration. Vibration is similar in many respects to noise, both in terms of its physical characteristics and preventive measures. So noise, vibration is some kind of familiarity is there with the noise and vibration. Vibration Vibration is the back and forth motion of an object. There are two types of vibration exposure that give rise to occupational health effects. First, hand-arm vibration. Hand-arm vibration is a mechanical vibration that passes into the hands and arms as a result of the hands having been on the handles or grip of a tool. So, if any person is exposed to the hand-arm vibration, it will normally will affect on the hand and these parts, arms. It will affect. Then we have the whole body vibration. Sorry, this is the mechanical vibration that passes into the body through the feet and legs or backside as a result of standing or sitting on vibrating surface. Let's say that person is handling any or driving any vehicle which is vibrating too much and he's sitting on the driver's seat. So what will happen when the person is operating that vehicle? He will receive the vibration. This vibration will start from his leg and that will pass through the his thighs. It will go to the upper body and it will go to the back also. So in that way, it will affect the whole body vibration. So a worker using an angle grinder would be exposed to hand-eye vibration, whereas a dumper truck driver would be exposed to whole body vibration. So these are the cases. So the hand-arm vibration syndrome is a condition that especially affects the hands and arms as a result of significant hand-arm vibration dose. So the hand-arm vibration symptoms, it will include vibration white finger, nerve will damage also, muscle will weak and joint will damage. So these are the symptoms of hand-arm vibration syndrome. After then we have the whole body vibration. Whole body vibration affects the most significant health effect is back pain as a result of damage to the soft tissues of spinal, such as the intervertebral disc, which are outlined in element 6. So though other effects have been reported, such as vertigo, health effects can result from a significant vibration close to the body, normally through the backside from sitting, dumper truck driver, or the feet and legs from standing. This is a relatively poorly understood area of concern. So if you want to see that, and if you really want to feel that how the whole body vibration and how the hand arm vibration can affect our body, what you can do, you can physically visit the area and after then you can see these vehicles. And after then you can sit on the vehicles also and you can try that one also. And you can feel that how these vibration are affecting our body also and you can use the you can just grab the equipments also and the tools also, so it will give you the more better understanding that how these affecting and how these vibration uh, going to our body. The basic vibration control measures are, in simple terms, vibration exposure can be controlled in three ways. First, reduce the vibration at source. That you can reduce at source how? The machine, equipment and vehicle, whatever the things you will use for the work, that need to be reduced from that source. Second thing, interrupt the pathway from source to receiver, limit the duration of exposure. So in that way, you can control the vibration. Note that unlike the noise, there is no PPE option. So there is no PPE option. This is because there is conflicting evidence about the effectiveness of PPE at preventing vibration transmission, and many authorities do not recognize PPE as a means of exposure control to vibration. So there are no PPEs related to the vibration. Now the reduce vibration at source. How you can reduce the vibration at source? First of all, you have to identify the source. What are the sources of vibration? Once you will identify the sources of vibration, you need to eliminate the source. Completely remove the vibration source, perhaps by mechanizing the use of tools, example using a concrete breaker mounted on an excavator arm rather than hand operated. That you can do, or by changing work methods, clamping rather than welding, removing need to grind away welds. So you can eliminate the source. After then, substitute the source. Change the vibration source for something else that does the same job but generate less vibration. This can be done by changing the type of equipment or tool being used, but can often be achieved by using the same type of tool but simply buying a low vibration magnitude module. So whenever you are buying any equipment, any tools or any vehicles, one of the most important requirement that you need to see that the how much vibration that tool, that equipment, that vehicle is going to produce, that you need to check. And you need to make sure that manufacturer, they are providing the proper data related to the noise and vibration as well when you are purchasing these equipment. And these requirements should be there on your SOPs, standard operating procedures, your documents or guidelines, or in the policies whenever you are buying any new equipment or any machinery, whatever things you are buying for the worker use. Third one, changing work techniques. There may be ways of doing the work that do not produce as much vibration. Example, cutting holes in masonry using a diamond tip drill rather than a tungsten hammer drill. So you need to check the work techniques also. Sometimes people, what they will do, they adopt the different work techniques that will create the more risk and more hazards. So that we also need to check. So then we have the maintenance. Machinery often produces vibration because it is in need of maintenance. Bits in particular should be kept sharp. So maintenance, as I said earlier, it is the major part of the tools and the machineries that can reduce the noise and the vibration also. And all the tools and machinery should be included in the PPM plan, and they should be maintained as required by the manufacturer standards, as required by the legal standard, as required by your company or any organization requirements that need to be done. Now, basic vibration control measures interrupt the pathway isolation. Vibration is transmitted through solid materials by direct contact. So what will happen? You have the equipment, and this equipment is vibrating, and it will contact with the floor, and the vibration will travel. So what you can do between the machine and between the floor, between the machine and floor, you can put some kind of barrier like this thing. So if you will use these things, what we are calling this one, the suspension of center of the vehicle cap is isolating the driver from the vehicle, that we can do. Limit the exposure, duration of exposure. There is a direct relationship between vibration dose and duration of exposure. So these are the products that we can use also, that will, what it will do, sorry. These counters also remove the vibration, and it will stop the vibration to the machine only, so it will not travel to the floor, that we can do. After that, we have to limit the duration exposure by calculating how long a worker might use a particular tool before they approach a relevant action or limit value. You have to make sure that, and you have to comply with the legal requirement to make sure that you are complying with the vibration requirement and the worker is not exposing to the vibration for a long time, and what is the limit of vibration exposure that you need to check. Notification also is one of the good thing that you can do, that you can shift the worker, you can switch the worker that 15 minutes, 1 hour, half an hour, it depends on your process. You want your worker to work on particular machinery or particular tools. And role of health surveillance. How the health surveillance is, they can help us to make sure that our employees, they are not getting affected by vibration. Health surveillance is appropriate for workers exposed to high vibrations levels. In the first instance, this health surveillance might simply consist of looking at workers' medical history and asking about symptoms of health effects. You can do, and the first time you can ask the medical history from the worker, and you can check them physically, and you can identify the effects like right fingering, finger and other things, tissue damage and other things you can check physically, and you can ask them whether they have any health effects also or not. If problems are detected, if you find out that yes, there are some problems with the person, then tests might be carried out. You can carry out the test. Health surveillance should usually be carried out on all workers potentially exposed to vibration equipments or tools they are getting exposed. Any worker who might potentially be exposed to Damaging vibration levels should be checked when the post start work to establish a baseline and indicate whether they have pre-existing damage. If any worker has the pre-existing damage also, you need to record them also, right? Because maybe in the future, worker can claim that while working in your organization, he got these vibration issues, and now you don't have any evidence that worker has the pre-existing damage. So that's why you need to put the record also. You need to keep the record also for certain periods. Now, health surveillance allows identification of workers with pre-existing damage. When you are doing the health surveillance, then you can identify that whether the worker has the pre-existing damage or not. You can identify the new damage. Once you will do the health surveillance, you can remove or exclude the worker from vibration sources, and you can protect them. Because of the health surveillance, you can do the investigation of vibration controls to identify and rectify problems, protecting others in the same work. There are some legal requirements also, and the health surveillance should be conducted by trained, competent persons with the potential for referral of cases to a medical practitioners. So if there is any other damages that person is receiving, the health surveillance, which is conducted by a competent person, he or she should be referred that person to the medical practitioners. So you need to make sure that the person who's conducting the health surveillance, he or she, they should be properly trained, they should have proper experience, and they should be competent also. That's the requirement.